What's up, everybody? Happy Saturday. Welcome back to Web3 DJs. Remember, if you like this content, you should go ahead and tell a friend. Otherwise, like, comment, and subscribe. That's the best ways that you can support us. As always, I'm your host, Sticky Finger Jones, with my co-host, Hofstra. It's been another insane week in Web3. From the Cryptoon Goonz going to Wonkyworld. We're going to hit you with a veecon recap, maybe even show you a little bit of what Tasty Bones has going on with their food collection portal. Nonetheless, we're going to talk about all of these topics, and let's go ahead and get right into it. Let's break it down. I'll start y'all off with Cryptoon Goonz going to Wonkyworld. Like, what is Wonkyworld? What exactly does that mean? Well, we've been waiting for a long time for a V2, if you will, of these goons. They're one of my favorite projects. And so what they elected to do is go ahead and open their portal, which will allow you to go and transform your goon or allow him to go to Wonkyworld. And what's really interesting about this is traditionally what we've seen in the space is when people want to create V2 of their project, they just kind of create a derivative of what already exists. What the goons elected to do is employ a non-dilutive method. And so the goon that I own, when I put him through the portal and send him to Wonkyworld, he is, stored somewhere else. He goes away and he's transformed into this Wonkyworld goon. And so I think they have, 6,900 goons total, something along those lines. That's it. So if half of the people put their goons to Wonkyworld, then only, 3,400 original goons exist, and now there's 3,400 of these Wonkyworld goons. And the other thing that's really neat is you have the ability to send your goon back and forth. And so let's go ahead and show you exactly.
You can undo it.
You can undo it. Isn't that interesting?
What's the benefit of that? So you can sell it.
Well, so what they're going to do is exactly. So that's a great point here.
It's like a staking mechanism.
In many regards, yeah, they're kind of revolutionizing, how we would traditionally think about staking. And so that actually brings up a great point. So if I send my goon through the portal and I sell him, I also sold my original goon, or I also sold my wonky goon, whichever, version of that exists. It's literally, think of it as a transformation of kind of the same person. Almost like, to be honest with you, almost just like a different skin, a different set of clothes is kind of what you're, doing in many regards. So you pull up their website. Oh, go ahead.
No, it's like the mutant version.
Yeah, exactly. But you can go back and forth between the two, and it doesn't create more. It's the key here is non-dilutive. That was kind of like really what they wanted to employ. So when you go onto the Cryptoon Goonz site, you see here it says Get Wonky. When you go ahead and click that, it brings you to frickinsendit.cryptoongoonz.com. And the first thing that you see up here is all the goons that have kind of recently gone through.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So you can see all these sweet goons that have recently gone through. And then you can connect your wallet, which I already have, and see my goon. And so here, by selecting my goon, you can see that, I sent him through about 1 day, 14 hours and 34 minutes ago. And this is what he looks like. So let me show you what my original goon, what he looked like beforehand. And that way maybe we can do kind of like a side by side here. There he is. So let me change this camera angle. So here you see my original goon next to my newly transformed Wonkyworld goon. And so you can see the crown, they just created a new version of the crown. Same with the axe, the ninja star. I really love the body on this. I think the body and the crown are two of my favorite traits. And I'll be honest with you guys, I, of course, love the art, all of that sort of thing. But having the opportunity to take something that I enjoyed, like my original goon, and turn it into something I love, like this new goon, it's really sweet. It's something that I'm really happy that I've had the ability to take advantage of. And so, you brought up a great question as well earlier. Why would I do this? What does this look like? So on and so forth. Well, a lot of that's still to kind of be defined. But the first thing that they did is they launched a collection that you only had access to if you put your goon through the portal. And, the Cryptoon Goonz, one of my favorite things about them is that they ship product fast. I mean, this is monthly merch drops. No other project is doing that. And not only is it monthly merch drops, it's monthly merch drops at the most affordable rates. I mean, this shirt was $20. I'll show y'all what I went ahead and got. I copped a pair of these shorts for 35 bucks. My buddy got this shirt for $20. They got this sweet rugby polo, which my fiance was saying I should have got, so I might have to go back and
Oh,
pick that
cool.
up for $45. She loved the hat, so I did go back and grab one of those last night. I picked up this shirt. And so you can see that they kind of like launched a collection specific to this world. Of course, I picked up the pins and stickers. If you know me, I'm a big sticker fanatic. And yeah, they're just allowing you to get these at a really affordable rate, but you only were able to buy the Wonkyworld merchandise if you had a goon that you put through the portal. And then you
Oh,
can
you're like a merch machine. How
yeah.
much merch do you do you own?
Well, now because we have the show, I'm trying to wear a different piece of merch, whenever I can at least. And the thing is, I said it time and time again. My fiance hated my style. I don't know if she loves it more, but at least my style has changed. Streetwear is kind of the verbiage now. And then again, you can go back and see kind of the other pieces that they still have. This is the one piece that I love that I haven't got. Is their sweatshirt right here, $50. But yeah, I mean, you're not going to prices one anywhere else. Two, you're definitely not going to get these prices anywhere in the NFT market. I can promise you that. And so, anyways, it's really cool. I think part of the fun of this whole process is what exactly does it mean. I was listening to the alpha yesterday, and they were talking about how when projects execute, that's when everyone's like, when they fall on to, when they actually try to implement their roadmap, that's when the hype dies down, for lack of a better phrase. So I still like how there's an element of mystique here that the Cryptoon Goonz are providing us. I think it's really awesome, and I'm definitely excited to see what they have in store, because some of the things that they've talked about is if your Goon's in the portal, he'll be entered into other giveaways like Air Force Ones, getting tattooed by Sean, getting flying out, and then that's the creator, getting flown out to New York to have that done, all sorts of different cool things. And so, the sky's the limit. Definitely really interested to see what happens here.
And
And
speaking of, actually, I texting another goon, and he's a DJ, and he said in New York they've rented a boat, and they're gonna have a DJ on it for the party for NFT NYC. I don't know if that's 100% accurate, but I was like, whoa. And he's like, yeah, I want to fly from, I think he lives in Germany or something like that. And he was like, yeah, I want to get back. I just don't know if I can. So
yeah,
another reason to pick one of these things up, because it gives you access to the party in New York.
dude, and they just continue to build, man. Really bullish on the team, and I think we've talked about it a little bit in the space. When I first got in, I employed the strategy of buy what you like, and I was really kind of art oriented. With obviously I was hoping to make some cash, but this is a team that I think we can really invest in. I really enjoy the guys. Drewy kills it with the merch, and the rest of the team, whatever they're doing on behind the scenes. Clearly, they're shipping product fast, and yep, definitely a big fan. So
Yeah.
speaking of building, you had an outstanding time. It looked insane at veecon this last week. Why don't you go ahead and talk to us a little bit about that, and how it went?
Yeah, so the hat that I'm wearing right now, like if you were there, because
Right.
this lady she had a bag of these things, and she took specific characters,
Yeah.
and then you couldn't buy them. She's like, you can't buy them from me. I'm just giving them out. And so everybody was wearing these hats. Like if you start looking at some of the pictures, like I just grabbed one on the last, is what she had left. So, I picked up my own set of merch, but dude, it was crazy. Like the first day, if you went and you were trying to buy the limited edition merch,
Mm-hmm.
you had to wait for at least 3 hours. Like people came in, and first of all, at the line outside, it was raining, but the line literally wrapped around the entire building.
Crazy.
And people were there because I guess if you got there and you were like the first 600, you could get another hoodie. And so this guy told me he flew from England, and he went there and he waited in line since like 5 a.m. And something happened where he waited the whole time, and then they ran out of hoodies. But he was there at 5 a.m. and it didn't open till like, I want to say 8. And so they were in the rain. It wasn't a very nice day, but dude, it was crazy. And then the coolest part was like, if you downloaded the app, the functionality of how the ticketing worked, you can kind of see a little glimpse of the future, because you had to go in, they had to scan the ticket that was an NFT, and then they checked your ID, but it was really smooth and the technology was seamless. But then they integrated the app to have this contact feature for sharing. So if you ever go to a professional conference, a lot of times you download a second app and there's a QR code that you can scan someone's badge and then
Yeah.
put that information with like their website and all that, or they come to your table and then that's how you get contact information. Well, they integrated within the app the ability to do that. So when you met people, everybody was scanning each other's stuff. And I want to say the biggest takeaway from veecon was meeting so many people. And
Oh,
you see
nice.
people on Twitter, you know their names, you don't know the faces. And so there were so many of those like, oh my God, you're so and so, like, holy shit. And it was like instantly your friends, you know, and you're rolling around like, hey,
Definitely.
you want to come with us? Cool. Let me introduce you to these guys. And so we had our back alley crew out there. And so there was like a core group of like, I don't know, 6 of us rolling around.
Yeah.
And you have to imagine on Twitter,
Wow.
they know different people, we know different people. And
Yeah.
so it was
Yeah.
just like this huge meetup. And that was the coolest part, really, was just seeing so many people and everybody was into NFTs. It wasn't like you had to explain it. They just got it. And so, you know, instantly you're talking about projects, you're meeting, you know, they're telling you why they're into this. And, you know, it was just, I don't know, it was cool. The energy was really good.
And so, like, what exactly would you do there? So,
Okay.
did you have the opportunity to, go to different conferences? Was everybody kind of hanging out in one space and talking? What was that like?
Yeah. So first of all, it was at US Bank Stadium. So it was in the stadium that they did
Dang.
the Vikings football at. And so
Nice.
on the base floor, when you walked in, you had to walk all the way down. The main stage was on the base floor. So there was a bunch of chairs and like all the opening the speakers and the main speakers were on the main stage, but then they had about 6 other locations. So like you had to go up to a skybox and then they'd have chairs in an area and they would have like side discussions or featured speakers in those different areas. So you kind of had to pick and choose where you wanted to go. So if you wanted to go up and listen to so-and-so at 11 o'clock, you had to map it out because then the next place might be on the other side of the stadium or like down 4 flights of stairs. And so you ended up walking around a lot. And then while you were walking around to get to these different things, there was like different booths. So like Rally was there. They had a bunch of collectibles. You had card guys, you had merch guys, you had people, you know, selling veecon hot sauce. There was like an autograph section for Gary Vee. And so
Yeah.
what you ended up doing is you were walking around and then you'd run into someone and they're like, hey, we're going over here. You want to come? And you're like, cool. So you go up to like the Gala Games thing, you know, and then you sign up for like a free ledger giveaway and then you listen to a talk. And then after that, you would go, okay, let's go over here. And then you bump into some other people. But the whole time you're scanning everybody's app. And
Yeah.
so walking away from there, I mean, if you're someone that was trying to network and trying to do something with that, those connections were valuable. And the access you had to some of these people, you're not going to get anywhere else. Like I met
Yeah.
Farouk, I met Drifter Shoots, I met all the Nifty Portal guys, Nick and Pio, and, you know, just Vinny Hager. Like they were just standing next to you. And then, you know, one of the funny stories is like G Money. There's this whole hype right now with G Money and these free POAPs. And one of the other guys, Intergalactic, he's in our Nifty Portal. Dude, this guy somehow, I think he works for, he was like a volunteer, but he was able to get like VIP access. So he just like met all these people and he'd be like, hey man, you want to meet this guy? You want to meet this guy? And G Money, I didn't know what he looked like. He was like, hey, you want to meet G Money? And then we ended up getting busy and we didn't do it. But turns out like he was just giving away these free POAPs. And now it's like 14 ETH for the NFT that he dropped. If you had this
Dang.
whitelist was the equivalent of the POAP that he was giving out. So just like shit like that was happening. And it was just cool.
Dang, it sounds insane. So let me ask you then, what did you learn? Because obviously it was everyone's first time. That you're gonna do differently at VCon next year. Like, what's a hack? I spent too much time doing this, so next year I'm gonna do this, or anything like that.
Well, first of all, the tickets. So the VCon ticket that you got,
Yeah.
like that's like in the very opening, he was like, okay, everyone gets a free share of this $75,000 collectible VCon thing just for being there, right?
Wow.
And at the very end, he was like, there's also going to be he was doing the thing with Snoop Dogg. He said there's going to be a collaboration that if you own a VCon ticket, you're going to also get airdropped this collaboration that we're doing with Snoop Dogg. And then he kind of alluded to like some of the other stuff that the V friends are going to be doing with these collaborations if you have these, you know, certain ones. And so the crazy thing was when we left, the price of those tickets actually went up to, I think at one point they were like 0.7. So
Wow.
I bought my ticket for 0.51 and then 0.61, and then it had dropped right before getting in there to like 0.2 ish.
Okay.
And so the tickets now are almost the same price. I think I pulled it up today. It's at like 0.33. So I guess the takeaway is what I'm going to learn is one, I'm not getting rid of my ticket because I
Yeah.
think that there's going to have value. It's a collectible. It's the first one. And if I'm betting on the space, and I really think that like NFTs are the future, which I believe, I think this new genre is not going anywhere. I think it's only going to get bigger. To have something that has that historical significance, plus it's Snowfro that did the artwork, plus it's part of this whole thing, and it's like really in the first year. I mean, if you looked at how many people were there, there was 10,000 tickets, but if you just look at how much content was created at that event, there's so many content creators, YouTubers, people like big name people just coming away from that. I can only imagine the impressions that they got on the internet and the hype that this is going to build next year if this thing continues to move forward. All that FOMO and the people wanting to go. So,
Mhm.
one, I'm going to keep my ticket. Two, I'll definitely go to the next one. But I, I don't know that I learned anything I didn't already know as far as like NFTs in the space and like, you know, any of that. I don't think there was like real alpha that was shared, at least that what I found. It was just more like people's takes on the space. But I'm just more bullish. I mean, if that was something they threw together relatively quick. So
Yeah.
imagine more planning and more money and more time to prepare and more people coming in the space. Like it could be one of those really standout conferences that becomes like a real thing in the space. So, and the other takeaway was, dude, people love Gary V, man. Like the guy's like a freaking prophet,
Yeah, to
no
say the
kidding.
least.
Like people would wait in line for 2 hours just to get a selfie with the guy, like multiple times.
Wow.
Yeah, the
That
guy's got definitely a brand presence. It's crazy.
that is wild. I'll tell you what I learned, and I didn't even go. So my first learning is go. Second learning is I'm gonna bring some business cards because it does sound like an outstanding network opportunity. Yeah. Is there anything else that we need to know about VCon?
Um, no, just one other thing that I did I thought was really cool. So I'm a member of the Nifty Portal group,
Yeah.
and they ended up having a meetup, kind of an impromptu meetup at I
Oh
think it was
man,
at Top Golf. But
I saw you there. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, man, and meeting so many of those people. The people that are in NFTs have some of the most diverse backgrounds that you could imagine. Usually they're pretty smart. They have some sort of career or business or some cool story about how they found it. But I mean, it's not stupid people that are here, and everyone kind of has the same feeling about what NFTs are. But hearing so many like educated, smart, successful people be so excited about a space just makes me more excited. It makes me want to go to more of these events. Like that's why I've just kind of committed to like I went to NFT NYC last year. I went to VCon this year. I'm going to New York again next month. But any of these things I'm going to go to because for me it feels like there's a time in history, and if you know art and you know art history, it kind of is one and the same. There are periods of time where certain artists become significant because historical time points, like Basquiat was graffiti art, and just all the artists around that. And I kind of feel that that's the same way with NFTs, where you're in this first year and a half,
hmm
and being at these things might give you an opportunity to meet someone like Farouk or Pio or Nick. And let's say 4 years from now, these guys are the main influencers in the space, and being able to just interact with them and get pictures, like that might be something 30 years from now that's really important. And just being able to say, I was there. I
Yeah.
remember when Snoop was talking about that. I remember when Pharrell was saying this. I remember when Gary Vee said that. And just have those memories is worth the money that you're going to spend to go to any of these things. Plus the connections that you get if you're actually someone trying to build in the space and do something like that. So if you can, definitely try to get to one of these conferences because it's not super mainstream yet. And the access that you get is not going to be the same as it is in 5 years.
Yeah, 100%. Plus, man, you're a product of your environment. You surround yourselves with people like this. You start to build those goals in your own life, start to understand what they did to get there, and yeah, you do it yourself. It kind of reminds me of the picture of Habib and Connor when Habib is basically fanboying, right,
Yeah.
next to Connor, and then look what went on. Look at what Habib went on to do. Arguably one of the greatest, or arguably the greatest of all time in mixed martial arts. And so, yeah, definitely really awesome. And I can't wait to be able to attend my first one. I also meant to mention this earlier when you were talking about you do believe that NFTs are the future. I can't take responsibility for this. This analysis is not my own. I think it was Ben Jamin's. But basically, what he was suggesting is, okay, crypto's down, sure. But one, volume is up. And two, the number of holders is still steadily increasing. The number of unique holders, and this would be
Yep.
unique wallets in the space, is still steadily increasing, like by 400,000. And so people are still coming in. If you look at like the adaptation cycle we all learned in school, we need to get the early adopters and so on and so forth. And we're just waiting on the next wave to come. I know
Well, now's
time.
the time to build. Actually, it's funny that you say that. I was listening to the Bankless podcast, my favorite podcast to listen to,
Yeah.
and they were calling it a builder market. Instead of saying bear market, they say a
Yeah,
build market.
for
And I'm
sure.
like, man, that makes so much sense because this is when you have the biggest returns. When things are down, that's when you buy. When you build through something like this and you start accumulating and stacking, and that momentum builds up, boom, you end up getting a payday down the road that taking that risk could potentially pay off. I mean, it's a gamble, it's speculative, but
Oh yeah,
I
for
mean, we're
sure.
making a freaking show about this. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I wasn't doing this 2 months ago, neither were you, but we're like, man, it's so important. Like, we got to do this.
Yeah, exactly, man. And just like I always say, you never waste a good crisis, right? Why call it a bear market? Call it a builder market. I love it. View everything as an opportunity. Definitely a great
Anyway,
thought.
that's my whole soapbox speech. So,
Okay.
what's up with Tasty Bones, man? You've been talking about Tasty Bones for like, hey, we got to do something on this. We got to do something on that. I want to know, like, what's up with Tasty Bones?
Yeah,
Why
Tasty
should I
Bones,
get in
man.
this project?
Speaking of building, continuing to build, doing something, piece by piece, we build a little bit better every day. So, what I'm going to show you guys today is their food portal. I don't know if you guys know, but Tasty Bones are really unique in the fact that their food traits are dynamic. Most traits are static. When you buy the NFT, if it's got, a red shirt, it always has a red shirt. If you buy something with, awesome Kanye shades, it's always going to have the Kanye shades. Well, that is true for the Tasty Bones. They offer you the opportunity to change one of the traits that they're holding above their head, which is their food trait. And it all plays into their lore. It's a really interesting opportunity. So basically, you see here, it says it's time to feed the souls. Again, part of their lore. So you go ahead and you click on their food offering portal, and it brings you here. You can see here at the top the timer, the countdown. So I proceed, and then I will go ahead and connect my MetaMask, and it brings me. Oh, let me switch the views here. And so what it does is it brings me here, and it shows my two Tasty Bones here. So what I'll do is I'll select one of them. Let's go with this guy here. He'll be populated down here. And now what it says is select one grave and choose an offering. So you can see up here at top he has the stake. Now you see I do not have a stake. Let's. How about you go ahead and choose one for me, Hofstra? Which one of these graves look good?
All right, the one in the middle.
This one right here?
Yep.
Perfect. So I select this, it goes through, and it brings me here. And so you can see that now I have a cupcake. So I'll select the cupcake. Now it's changed, proceed. I press confirm. It's like, wow, congratulations. So then I can update my MetaMask or the metadata, on OpenSea, or I can collect another food offering. So you might be thinking, okay, like big whoop. Now you got a cupcake. What exactly does that mean? Well, the Tasty Bones have all these different types of food. It might be kind of hard to see. Let me see if I can expand this a little bit. They have all these different types of food, which range from common to uncommon to rare and then super rare. I may have pulled up. Oh, no, here we go. So you see the cupcake is right here. That means that this is suggesting that I collected a common food. Okay, that's fine. There's another element to this. They do giveaways based on these traits. So as you can see that I have, unfortunately, the cupcake
Oh,
does
wow,
not.
like real money giveaways. Look at
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. From Little Lemons NFT, Ramen Shop NFTs, Proven Corgis,
Oh, so it's like
Ethereum.
you're playing the odds here. So by doing this and collecting these things, you're increasing the odds of being able to win something.
Right, exactly,
That's great
precisely.
for a degenerate like me because
Yes,
I'm like any sort
100%.
of like angle we can get on this thing to win stuff. I'm in.
Yeah, and I mean it's some really cool whitelist XOXO, Senshi, And then again, 0.05 Ethereum, happy scoops, all this sort of stuff. So I actually got 0.05 Ethereum, but you see some people who are big holders in here. I mean, they're cranking out stuff every single week, getting a different win. So if I come back here, let's go ahead and maybe choose my other tasty bone.
Also, shout out, we got some people on Twitter Spaces. We just started going live. So if you want to actually watch this, we have the live stream on Twitter right now. So if you go to Web3 DJs, you can actually watch what we're talking about. And yeah, for the people that are in here that are ride or die, man, we appreciate it. We're just trying something new and adding that to the show. So thank you.
Yeah, I don't know if my boy Thumper's in here, but if he is, shout out to Thumper. He's the biggest goon fanatic that I know. He and my other buddy Ethereum are kind of the reasons that I even got into the goons, and he was, he's a ride or die, so definitely shout out to him. Next time we have some opportunity, we'll definitely make sure we find a way to help him capitalize on it as well. So yeah, so I'll go back to my other guy here. I'll select my other little man. Just click.
Oh, is that the counter at the top? 1 day, 21 hours, whatever. That's when they're doing the giveaway.
So that's how long you have to claim your food item. And so this is also their version of staking. So you see I got a burger. I think that's also a common food. And so they're going to roll out their native token, which will be called the T-Bone token, which you'll also be able to use in their store to buy whitelist or whatever they want to put on there. And the rate at which you collect food will also translate to how much token you've earned. So it's a really awesome thing. Just another cool way to be a degen in Web3. Something cool that we're doing that we wanted to share with you guys. We'll probably, do something shorter on the Tasty Bones every week, just so we have another touch point, show you what's going on and how I'm collecting my food portal, and hopefully you guys can see me win at some point. I don't know if I won anything this week. Doesn't look like
it.
Can
I share my screen? I'm just pulling up the chart right here.
Yeah, go ahead and share your screen.
Okay, so I was just thinking in my head, what's this thing cost? So 0.147 right now is the floor. Trading activity, it's somewhat decent. There's some action. And at the high on this thing, I remember this thing shot up at one point. It was like 0.9.
Yeah.
0.9. Right when it came out, jumped almost to 1. And it's been kind of on the decline, which makes sense for what's going on right now. So let me ask you this. I don't know much about this project. If, let's say, you're trying to pick projects to go in right now, there's so many.
Sure.
Why would someone want to pick this at 0.147 over something else? Is the team building? Who's behind the team? What's the deal with this project?
Yeah, so the team is definitely building. Something interesting that they've really done is they actually went outside of their community and hired on some like real working professionals. That includes like someone who's an expert in tokenomics. They hired they hired a couple legal professionals. They have a team that's dedicated to expanding the community, dedicated to collabs, dedicated to merch. I mean, they're building things out from every angle. Like you said, it's a builder's market, and there's kind of, two schools of thought here. Either we wait and kind of ride the market out, or we decide to take advantage of it and do whatever we can to gain a competitive edge. And so that's exactly what the Tasty Bones are doing.
Are these guys affiliated with Crypto Mores? Because the guys look fairly similar.
No, they are not affiliated with Crypto Mores.
Okay.
They are affiliated with Royal Labs is the name of the company.
Royal Labs NFTs?
That may be it. But Royal Labs is kind of the parent company. So they've also launched Approving Corgis. They launched Tasty Bones. And,
Okay, cool. Can I share my screen?
Pull it up. Yeah.
Okay, so this is Royal Labs right here.
Yes, sir.
What we do, smart contracts. Okay, so they're the design firm behind this. Corgis, Tasty Bones, Kaiju Friends, When WL. Cool.
Yeah, and so the other kind of benefit and thing that's really cool about that whole situation is that they're all in some ways connected. Like you saw, they were approving corgis on the giveaway for Tasty Bones. When Tasty Bones were first coming out, they did some fundraising with approving corgis and gave all the money to charity in order to get you, whitelist spots or free mints or all these sorts of things. And so I think that's the other benefit is approving corgis may have the philanthropy and community service aspect, and maybe Tasty Bones has the really strong IP Who knows what other projects they're going to build? But this is all going to work together to bring each other up, right? High tides raise all ships, and so definitely very excited for that. Like I said, man, the Web3 space is crazy. I'm degenning in it every week. The Tasty Bones gives me an opportunity, another touch point every Friday to go in here and kind of do just that. And so we talk about building habit forming products. I think this is kind of like their angle and one of the ways that they're doing that. I love the Web3 space. We just wanted to share with you guys what we're doing, right? And if you guys are doing anything cool that we should feature on the show or check out, definitely let us know, because we're lifelong learners just like the rest of us. It's still early in the space. If you don't think you can learn, then you're a loser.
Yeah, and if you want to know and you're new, hit us up on Twitter. We just created an Instagram. I've got a couple Instagrams, enigmas.eth, and then we've got web3djs.eth, and then Hofstra on Twitter, Sticky Finger Jones on Twitter, Web3DJs. Reach out, say what's up. We're happy to help. Outside of that, man, it's Saturday. What do you got? Like, you watching soccer? What's going on?
Come on, baby, up the Reds! Come on, you see, you'll never walk alone, and that's true for this show as well. Obviously, go Liverpool, but you listen to us, you'll never walk alone. You always have a friend in us. But absolutely, man, Liverpool's about to tear up Real Madrid. Mohamed Salah is the best player in the world. Jurgen Klopp's the best coach. If you have a problem with that, that's fine. You have your own opinion, even if it's wrong. But yeah, otherwise, man, we're here all the time doing a couple of shows a week. Definitely doing them every Sunday, every Wednesday, live on Twitter, live on Twitch, live on YouTube. Make sure you
also tomorrow we got a big show. Job he had to reschedule, but from Tezotopia, we've been talking about this game. You want to know about how to mine minerals and make money? Yeah. And then have a battle royale to win in-game assets that you can actually sell on their marketplace. If you want to diversify, they say it's Solana summer. I'm just saying Tezos hasn't caught up yet. And it will, because it's the only other decentralized setup that's gasless and it's green and it's efficient. So you want to watch this one. It's going to be dope.
100%. And just a caveat off of that, it's like, you think the migration from Ethereum to Solana is really picking up traction? Wait till people learn about Tezos. It might be Solana summer, but it's going to be Tezos Turkey Day.
Yeah, so, right.
Yeah, definitely.
Tezos tomorrow.
Yeah, there it is. So, anyways, like we said, live on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. Please, the number one thing you can do to support us is tell your friends about us. Otherwise, comment,
subscribe. Web3 DJs, we out. Peace.
Go live.